Teeny Gamer here, and you already know the drill. Spiral Abyss 3.7. Let's just get to it.
Witness the power of good.
Solidify.
Gotcha. Rain outlines your fate.
This is order.
Let me read your verse. Know my sword. Rain outlines your
Stabilize.
Witness the power of good. You deserve not to get down.
Order guide you. Gather.
My will embodied.
Clouds high. The birds conquered.
Do your master's bidding. Take flight. Sakura swirl. Whirling snow. Oh, cryo incarnate.
The wind rules.
Permanence of the deep. Allow me. Take flight. Transfiguration.
The eternal oasis. Behold. Solidify.
Let me read your verse.
My holy proclamation. The power. I will have order. Stabilize.
Know my sword. Busted. Take it easy.
Fallen leaves. Adorn my night. One with nature.
By ordinance divine. Whirling snow. Embrace the ice. Take your true form.
Wind strike.
Rest and rebuild. Take flight.
Some target practice.
Embrace the storm. Transfiguration. Where do you think you're going? Illusion shadow. I see everything. Make yourself at home. Time for takeoff. Things are about to get dicey. Now you shall perish.
Can you hear the words I want?
Everyone hold hands. The temple of wisdom. Here we go. Think you can get away? Busted. There is no escape.
My breath can feel me either way.
I see everything. Sharing my knowledge.
Truth won't set you free.
Let's play. Time for takeoff.
For the glory of
Inazuma shines eternal.
as you bow your head to me.
Everyone hold hands. Make yourselves at home. Quietly now. Think you can get away? Here comes the catch. Shine down. Now you shall perish.
Then I feel me better run away. Cause this battle just begun. As one with wind and cloud.
One with nature. Witness the power of kazuha. Rain outlines your fate.
Can you hear the words I want?
Let's light it up. Teamwork is strength. Body and hip.
Fallen leaves adorn my night.
Rain cutter.
In my
Rain
breath
outlines your fate.
either way. So the truth won't set you free.
I'm going in.
Glory of this golden war.
Time to act.
As you bow your head to me. As one with wind and cloud.
Witness the power of kazuha. Why do they never miss? Teamwork is dreamwork.
Then I feel me better run away. Cause this battle just begun.
Let's light it up.
Let it whisper in your evil ear. Can you hear the
Gonna hurt in the morning. Let's light it up. Brace yourself. There is no escape. Time for takeoff. Temple of wisdom. Things are about to get dicey. This makes me look. Inazuma shines eternal. Shine down. It's memory. Torn to oblivion. Everybody stand back. Know my soul. One with nature. Let me read the effects. Time to act. Rain outlines your fate. Body and mind. Wind strike. Vengeance, go in! Let's light it up! No, my sword! Everybody stand! Let me weave you a verse.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night.
Rain outlines your fate. Wind strike. Rain cutter. I'm going in. Nice and spicy.
Wind strike.
There is no escape. Everyone hold hands. Share my knowledge. Allow me. Now you shall perish. There is no escape. Inazuma shines eternal.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night. Wind strike. Clouds high, the birds call. One with wind and cloud.
Stand back!
And that is it for 3.7 Spiral Abyss. Now, I'm just gonna say this. This is literally the hardest Spiral Abyss ever. Like, no joke. This is one of, if not the hardest Spiral Abyss ever. Really thought that 2.6 was really bad? Look at this one. I am just gonna go to the Spiral Abyss right now to showcase the enemies here. I'll pick up the rewards later once I'm done with recording this segment. But this is literally one of the hardest spiral abysses in the game, just because of Chamber 1. Chamber 1 is hell! It's absolute hell! Yeah, excuse my language, but still, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I don't know how free-to-play players will actually do this, but if you can, then congratulations, man. Congrats. You deserve a medal if you do this as a free-to-play. Because this is one of the hardest chambers in Spiral Abyss history. Same with the other chambers, too. These are no slouch either. Like, the Jade Plume Terrace Room, Thunder of Manifestation. These two concentrated beasts, these are terrible beyond belief. We do have the new 3.6 boss right here, which is the Inquisitus Baptist, which is also pretty annoying too, because you need to bring multiple elements. So, without any further ado, I might as well explain these in detail. I will explain them in greater detail and also give you my insight and strategies on the commentary version of this video. But right now, I'm just going to give you the overview of this, and I'll just give you my thoughts right now. So, Chamber 1, first half is not really that bad. The second half is an absolute nightmare. I am dead serious. This is an absolute nightmare. So, not only you have to deal with two Abyss Heralds, the Frost ones, you have to deal with a Hydro Abyss Herald, and you already know how annoying these guys are. They spin like Beyblades, they move around all the time. The only way you could stop them is using Freeze. Yeah, it's really, really bad. So, the only choice that I had to use was the Kazuha national team because of the Swirl. Swirl affects every single shield in the game, which is why I used Kazuha. If you do not have Kazuha, well, good luck, because you probably might have to use another animal support. Thank goodness Kazuha is in the game, because Kazuha is the best Animo sub-DPS in the game. No questions asked. He is literally used in almost every single Spiral Abyss team. He's just that good. So yeah. Thanks to Kazuha, Chamber 1 was definitely possible. But if you do not have Kazuha or a really cracked animal support, then good luck with this chamber. Chamber 2 is not really that bad either. You could literally just burst these down and it won't be a problem. Chamber 3 is kind of a nightmare if you do not have multiple elements. If you already fought these concentrated beasts before, you already know how they work. They're really aggro. Once they reach a certain amount of HP, they will summon a sigil that you break, and then it'll basically become weak. So yeah, if you already know how to beat these concentrated beasts, it shouldn't be a big problem. You might want to abuse invincibility frames, though, for their attacks, because they attack relentlessly. So yeah. And then for second half, we have the new enemy, which is the Baptist from 3.6, from the Sumeru overworld. He's really annoying if you do not have a lot of elements in your disposal. That is why you need to bring double Pyro and a Hydro character. You need to bring a Hydro character specifically for this boss, because if you do not bring a Hydro character, well, good luck. So yeah. Hydro character is used for the fire shield. It's basically laid out here. He basically does Flood, which is his Hydro shield. After he's done with his Hydro shield, he goes to the Pyro shield. And after the Pyro shield, he goes to Cryo. But I'm pretty sure, since it is my run, I don't know if it's for other runs too, but I think he goes in this specific order. I kept refreshing to see, and I'm pretty sure he goes in this specific order. He goes Cryo shield first, then Pyro shield second, and then Hydro shield last. Yeah, he goes in that specific order, I'm pretty sure. So yeah. I'm pretty sure he's not gonna be that bad, but I don't know. I mean, you just need multiple elements, and I think you should be fine. Actually, no. I'm looking back at the footage right now. I think this is the order. It's Cryo, then Hydro, then Pyro. Yeah, Cryo, Hydro, Pyro. I'm pretty sure that is the order. If it's not, then, well, my bad. But, anyways, yeah, that is the Baptist. He is extremely annoying. Just bring multiple, elements to deal with the shields, and I'm pretty sure you should be fine. The hardest part is to do this in 3 minutes, of course. That is the challenge of getting a 3-star in Spiral Abyss in the first place. So yeah. That is 412 in a nutshell. It is extremely, extremely difficult. 411 is not really that bad. I mean, it's just your typical enemies. The Abyss Heralds are not really that bad either. I mean, it's just one Electro Abyss Herald. It's not really that bad. So yeah. Yeah, so if you are going to be attempting this Spiral Abyss, I'm just going to say good luck. But, if you have noticed, in the video, I did switch teams on the 3rd chamber, so that is why I'm going to be reviewing one extra character on my team, which is Venti. You know, the reason why I use Venti is to get rid of the, chamber 1 enemies a lot faster. I don't really need Venti for Chamber 2 or Chamber 3, so Venti's only there for Chamber 1 purposes, but I was able to get the 3-star clear with Venti anyway, so yeah, really, really fortunate that I got the 3-star clear on Chamber 2, so all I had to do was focus on Chamber 3 and then team build around Chamber 3, so yeah, not that bad. Well, anyways, it is time to go over every single character that I have. I'm gonna be doing it in this party list, so I don't have to go over other characters that badly, because scrolling on top of the character list is really annoying. At least with this, I could see all the characters here. So anyways, without any further ado, it is time to go over my units one at a time, starting with the first half. And of course, our girl, the Raiden Shogun, is our first character. So my Raiden has not changed ever since. So yeah, well, you can see the stats here. Crit rate, crit damage is good. Energy recharge is through the roof, as you can see there. Pretty basic Raiden, basically min-maxing Raiden. Yeah, she is basically overloaded with a bunch of stats at this point. I don't really need to buffer all that much and just reroll artifacts. I'm pretty sure she's just good as the way she is. The only thing I need now is just getting her to C2. So yeah. Well, her weapon is Engulfing Lightning, which is her best weapon. If you really want to know what her best 4-star weapon is, it's the Catch. So yeah, you could either run the Catch or Engulfing Lightning, but I ran Engulfing Lightning instead because it is her best weapon and I managed to pull her 5-star weapon. As for artifacts, I have 4-piece Emblem of Severed Fate. This is her best set in general. It's good for her sub DPS, it's good for her main DPS. It's just good all around. If you are going to be running at least one artifact set on her, this is the artifact set to go. So yeah. As for constellations, I have her C0. I am not a whale, but I am planning to get her at C2 because this constellation is extremely broken. So yeah. And then as for talents, I have 10, 10, 10. She's basically maxed out at this point. Yeah, I use her all the time. Might as well max her out. Triple crown her. Yeah, that is Raiden Shogun. Pretty cool. She was the carry of this team. But we also have another carry on the first half, which is Nahida. Nahida has not changed ever since either. Her elemental mastery is pretty high. Her crit rate, crit damage is pretty average. Her energy recharge, she doesn't really need energy recharge since her talents. Her burst is basically really cheap to get. So yeah. As for her weapon, I have 1,000 Floating Dreams, which is her best weapon in general. It's pretty much made for Nahida. If you really want a free-to-play weapon that you can run with her, it's the Magic Guide, which is a 3-star weapon. That's also pretty good too. But 1,000 Floating Dreams is what I run on her, so yeah. As for artifact set, I have 4-piece Deepwood Memories, which is her best set in general. There's no other set you can run on Nahida. It basically complements her Dendro kit, decreasing Dendro res. She basically works on every single Dendro team in the game. So yeah, she's just too good. Too good with that artifact set. As for constellations, I have her C0. I'm not planning to get her more constellations in the future, so she's probably just going to be stuck there. And as for talents, 6, 10, 6. Yeah, I leveled up this to level 10 because this is just basically her main kit. I'm probably going to level this up to level 10 as well, but her normal attack, she doesn't really need to use her normal attacks that much. She's just used for element reactions. So yeah. Nahida, extremely good. Everyone already knows how good Nahida is. She is basically broken, beyond busted. And next up, we have another member of our team, which is Yelan. Yelan has not changed ever since either. The reason why I'm saying this is because I've been using these characters for a really long time. So if you want to see previous Spiral Abyss videos, you could check them out in the Spiral Abyss playlist to see what has changed on my characters. But I'm pretty sure none of these changed ever since. So yeah, to my recollection. So her max HP is pretty good. Crit rate, crit damage, energy recharge is at 180, which is basically barely enough for her to work on the Raiden team. As for her weapon, I have Aqua Simulacra, which is basically her best weapon. There's no other weapon you could probably run on her. So, yeah. I guess the only other bow you could run is Stringless, but she doesn't really need the EM, since she does mostly her damage is on her burst. But you could give her EM to just basically increase elemental reactions. But Aqua Simulacra is probably her best bow. It increases her HP and she gives crit damage, which is pretty good. As for artifact set, 4-piece emblem, which is basically her best sub DPS set. You could run a main DPS set if you want, but I think Yelan is probably good for sub DPS because you mainly use her for Q anyway. And Emblem of Severed Fate is used with energy recharge, and it basically increases the damage of your elemental burst, which is why I run Emblem of Severed Fate. As for constellations, I have her C0, not planning to give her more constellations in the future. And as for talents 6, 7, 8, I am planning to level this up to level 10, but I do not have the resources right now for it. I have to grind for those, so yeah. Well, Yelan is still pretty good, even with a not max leveled elemental burst, so yeah, pretty good. And then lastly, on our first half team, well, technically, quote-unquote, lastly, is Kokomi. So Kokomi, she has not changed ever since either, when I used her last time. Her HP is pretty high, her energy recharge is okay. She doesn't really need that much energy recharge since you're probably never going to use her burst anyway, unless you are running main DPS Kokomi. So yeah. As for her weapon, I have Prototype Amber, which is her best free-to-play weapon. If you really want her best weapon, it is the donut, obviously. It is basically her main weapon. But Prototype Amber is a good free-to-play option, which is what I use right now. It is extremely good for her healing purposes. As for as for artifacts, my bad, is Ocean Hued Clam, which is her best set in general. It basically does damage every time you heal yourself. So yeah, it's pretty good. Basically, you get max 30,000 damage per heal, which is, again, really good. This also works for a main DPS Kokomi, since her burst basically heals you every time you hit an opponent. And then Ocean Hued's Clam artifact set procs, and then you deal even more damage. So yeah, this is her best main DPS set, her best healing set, and her best sub DPS set in general. If you really want a full HP healing Kokomi, basically just have her as a healer and a healer only, then 4-piece Maidens is her best set. As for constellations, I have her at C1. Never gonna give her any more constellations. I only got this because I got really unlucky on the wish banners, so yeah. And as for talents, I have 6, 8, 8. I am planning to level these two up to level 10 as soon as possible, since Kokomi is pretty much extremely good on basically any team she's featured in. So yeah, there is Sangonomiya Kokomi. And then lastly, our honorable mention for the first half is Venti. So Venti right here is pretty much your standard animal support. I basically made him my standard animal sub DPS instead of an animal support. As you can see here, crit rate, crit damage is basically mid. Energy recharge is pretty good. He doesn't have that much EM because he doesn't really need that much EM. As for his weapon, I have Elegy for the End, which is basically his best weapon in the game. If you want the best free-to-play weapon, obviously it's the Stringless. So yeah, you can either run the Stringless or this weapon. But I ran this weapon because it just fits his kit really well. Elemental Mastery, Skills and Burst do big damage, and you get more elemental mastery on top of that too. So yeah, this is pretty much made for him. So yeah. As for his artifact set, 4-piece Viridescent, it is his best set, no questions asked. It's literally the set that any animal support runs. It's basically made for Venti. So yeah, no other set you will run besides Viridescent on Venti. As for constellations, I have him at C0. He doesn't really need that much constellations, and I'm pretty sure his constellations are kind of mediocre. So yeah. And then as for talents, I have 666. He's basically minimally built, but I only use them as a animal suck up. Basically, suck enemies in and then just do damage. So yeah, he's just mainly there for animal support on Chamber 1. So yeah, there is Venti. Pretty cool. Now, it is time to go over the second half team, which is, thankfully, one consistent team. So, first off on our team is Kazuha from our second half team. So Kazuha has not changed as well. He has pretty good EM. I basically balanced out most of his stats. Yeah, he has pretty good EM. His crit rate, crit damage is actually pretty good. His energy recharge is okay. I didn't give him that much energy recharge since I made him a sub DPS. So yeah. As for his weapon, I have the Iron Sting, which is basically his best weapon. Of course, his best weapon is his own 5-star weapon, obviously. So if you really want to run his best weapon, then just go ahead. But Iron Sting is a good free-to-play option. It is basically free. All you have to do is just craft it. So yeah, pretty accessible if you really want to build your own Kazuha. As for artifact set, I have 4-piece Viridescent. There's no other set you will run. Why would you ever run any other set besides Viridescent on Kazuha? I'm just gonna say that. As for constellations, I have him at C0. His C1 and C2 are pretty good. His C2 just gives 200 elemental mastery, which is extremely broken. So yeah. I might make him C2, but I'm gonna be pushing for Raiden C2 first before I make him C2. Just because Kazuha is used in many Spiral Abyss teams. And as for talents, I have 669. Yes, I almost leveled this up to max, but I do not have the resources for the next level 10. So yeah. But there is Kazuha. Pretty good. He's basically really good in any team possible. He's just the bee's knees. He's universal. So yeah. And here we have our next member, which is Xingqiu. He is extremely good. He's still one of the best Hydro characters in the game. Even though he is a day 1 character. So yeah, he's actually really good. As you can see here, crit rate, crit damage is okay. Energy recharge is pretty good. I only made him a sub DPS because he is gonna hit harder with his Q. So yeah, that's the only reason why I did that. As for his weapon, I have Sax Sword at R5, which is extremely good. It's his best sword. There's no other sword you will run. Because Sax Sword basically feels his Q faster because of the 80% chance to end its own cooldown. So you can basically do his E twice and you get his burst right away, which is extremely good for Xingqiu. As for artifact set, I have him at 4-piece Emblem, which is basically his best sub DPS set in the game. If you really want a free-to-play set, 2-piece Hydro, 2-piece Burst. Yeah, extremely good. Or aka 2-piece Hydro, 2-piece Noblesse. That's also really good on him. But I ran Emblem because you can see how much energy recharge he has on his stats, as you can see there. The more energy recharge he has, the higher his burst damage is. So yeah, that's basically why I gave him Emblem of Severed Fate, and he's able to do that much damage. He's extremely good. As for constellations, I have him at C6. Eventually, anyone who has played this game day 1 will have him at C6. So yeah, it's not really that hard to get him at C6. And then as for talents, I have 6, 10, 13. Yes, I crowned this, actually. So yeah, Xingqiu, he's extremely good. Best Hydro support in the game, in my opinion. If you do not have Xingqiu built, build him. He's extremely good. Next up, we have Zhongling, which is probably one of the best Pyro supports in the game. If not the best Pyro support in the game. As you can see here, we have crit rate, crit damage at a decent level. We have energy recharge at a really good level. And then her weapon, we have the Catch, which is her best free-to-play weapon in the game. Yep. If you really want to run another weapon, probably Dragon's Bane, I guess. But the Catch is basically the weapon that she really needs the most, because it increases her burst damage by 32%. and it increases the crit rate of her burst damage by 12%. So yeah, this is basically made for Zhongling. As for artifact set, I have 4-piece emblem. Again, I gave her a high energy recharge so that her elemental burst does more damage. Zhongling is all about the elemental burst, besides Globa, which gives you the pepper. But her elemental burst is the name of her game. As you can see in the constellations, which I am going to be going over right now, which she is at C6. Her C6 basically just gives pyro damage bonus, and then it also decreases the duration of Pyronado. Yeah, that is the reason why you will run the catch, just because you can spam her Q so much. It's extremely, extremely good. As for talents, I have her at 6, 9, 11. I am planning to level this up to level 13. She is basically a main staple on my team at this point. Yeah, Zhongling, extremely good. One of the best Pyro sub DPSs in the game, if not the best Pyro sub DPS in the game. And then last but not least, we have our boy Bennett. Everybody knows how good Bennett is. He's basically the most overused character in Spiral Abyss because he can heal and he can buff damage. He's just extremely good. Everyone already knows how good Bennett is. So yeah. As you can see here, his HP is at 25,000. It's not really that high, but I don't need it to be really that high because he heals so much anyway, so it doesn't really matter. His energy recharge is extremely high so that I could get his burst right away. So yeah. As for his weapon, I have the 5-star Skyward Blade, which is his best weapon in general because it has high base attack and it gives him energy recharge. So yeah, this is basically his best weapon ever. If you ever want to run a free-to-play weapon on him, then the Festering Desire is pretty much his best free-to-play weapon. It's literally free-to-play because you could get it for free. But I assume that you guys are probably new players and have not done the 1.2 update, and that's the case, then you could just run Favonius Sword. That also works too. As for artifact set, I have 4-piece Noblesse, which is his best set. There's no other set you will run. It basically increases the party members' attack by 20%, and his burst increases attack. So yeah, this is a no-brainer. As for Constellation, I have him at C5. I am never giving him C6 because the C6 basically makes him not universal. I want to make him universal. So yeah. And as for talents, I have 6, 9, 11. Planning to level this up to level 13. It's just too good. Fantastic Voyage is like probably one of the best bursts in the game. So yeah. And that is it for this character showcase. And that is it for this video and this Spiral Abyss. So yeah. Well, as for my final thoughts on Spiral Abyss 3.7, I'm just gonna say good luck on Chamber 1. Chamber 1 is absolute torture. So yeah, I'm just gonna say good luck. Good luck to everyone who is doing this. I swear. If you do beat this with a free-to-play team, congratulations, you're probably better than me. So yeah. Well, anyways, like the video if you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll get your videos once a week, so if you do like that sort of content, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to not miss out on a single Genshin upload. Also comment down below, what do you think of Spiral Abyss 3.7? You think it's hard? You think it's easy? You think I'm over-exaggerating on the enemies of the floor? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, thank you guys for watching this Spiral Abyss video. And I'll see you guys in the next Genshin video.